This is an art collage novel video. I made this series so you guys can experience the story faster. The video will focus on the character's psychology, the images are for illustration purposes only. Yunxiao sneered when he saw the crowd's fearful eyes on him. Then, he said to Gao Lin and the other leaders, "It's rare for everyone to wait for me here and not leave. How can I thank everyone for this young master's concern?" Everyone could hear the sarcasm in his words, and they looked at each other helplessly. "It's good that you're fine, boy. If something happened to you, the deal between us would be over," Tan Dijuan said with an embarrassed smile. "Humph." Yunxiao snorted lightly as he clenched his fist in the air. The Northern Heaven Cold Star sword suddenly flew back into his hand, and a sword beam as cold as water bloomed in the air, pointing at Shindoyo as he said coldly, "Do you still remember what I said just now? You really deserve to die." Shindoyo was shocked by the sword ray and retreated continuously. He had watched this man kill a 7-stars martial venerable with one sword and destroy an 8th-rank demonic beast with one punch. He could not compete with either of them. In fact, Yunxiao's strength had been greatly overestimated by the crowd. Fang Tianhe was killed by the thunder tribulation of a 9th-tier profound artifact. Although the power of the imperishable golden body was very strong, the key was that the monster had exhausted its demonic power and was already an arrow at the end of its flight. But, the visual effects of the two attacks were so shocking that even Tan Dijuan and Gao Lin did not dare to provoke Yunxiao, let alone Shinduyo. His face changed drastically with fear, and he quickly hid behind Elder Sima. Tan Dijuan's face changed drastically. He stepped forward and said, "Elder Jin was indeed in the wrong. I'll have him apologize to you." "Apologize? I almost lost my friend because of this," Yunxiao sneered. "How can an apology end this?" "Tan Dijuan, you're getting more and more humorous." Tan Dijuan was so angry that his eyes bulged, but he did not dare to argue with Yunxiao, so he said angrily, "Then what are you going to do?" "I won't let you kill Elder Jin." "Why don't I compensate you with some vitality stones?" He suddenly thought of something and asked. He knew Yunxiao's character very well, and he seemed to be very friendly with primordial stones. I can consider that." As expected, Yunxiao's eyes lit up as he immediately put away the Northern Heaven Cold Star sword and said, "How much?" Everyone felt dizzy. So this could work too. The bargaining between Tan Dijuan and Ning Lin had already made everyone feel uncomfortable. It seemed that money could do anything. Even a martial venerable could use yuan stones to buy his life. Tan Dijuan's heart ached. He knew he was going to be extorted again. He said, "Let's put it aside for now. When we find the treasure, we'll settle the deal together with the first 2 deals we made. How about it?" He thought to himself, "When the time comes, I'll let senior brother Zhang Linghua negotiate with the kid. With a martial emperor in charge, he'll be able to suppress him and prevent him from asking for an outrageous price." "All right." Yunxiao was rather straightforward. He stared coldly at Shinduyo and said, "I'll hang your head on your neck for now. Whether I take it away or not will depend on how many origin stones your sect is willing to pay for you. If you're not worth tens of billions in their eyes, then I'll just take it away." Shinduyo's face turned pale. Although he was angry and ashamed, he was helpless. Dignity was important, but many people valued their lives more. Tan Dijuan felt dizzy. Although Yunxiao's words were directed at Shinduyo, he was undoubtedly telling him that the problem could not be solved without tens of billions of primordial stones. He felt that he couldn't handle this person at all, so he shook his head and said, "Let's go quickly. If we can find the Southern Fire golden crystal source, these few primeval stones won't make a difference." His words immediately gave all the surviving cultivators some hope and courage. After experiencing such a difficult life and death situation, they were probably about to see the light. Gao Lin and the others looked at each other and didn't say anything. They lowered their heads and continued walking. The whole team was divided into 4 parts: local forces, Chamber of Commerce forces, itinerant cultivators, and the last part was Yunxiao and Tongxian. The 2 of them smiled wryly, and Tongxian said gratefully, "Thank you," she said. "It's fine," Yunxiao chuckled. It was just 2 simple sentences. Some people and some things didn't need to be said too much. After the battle with the mud monster, everyone was listless. Young Master Yun, you have too many responsibilities on your shoulders, Han Xian said. I hope you won't risk your life to save me like this next time, or I'll feel uneasy. Don't worry, Yun Xiao said with a smile. There's no danger ahead. Eh? How did young Master Yun find out? Han Xian found it strange. The conversation between the two men was in a normal tone, so everyone could hear it clearly. They were all surprised and wanted to hear Yun Xiao's opinion. Don't you see those fools from the Chamber of Commerce walking in the front? Yun Xiao laughed. When were they at the forefront when there was danger? This buy-in. Han Xian was stunned for a moment, then came to a realization. I see. Everyone also revealed a look of understanding. This was indeed the case. Gao Lin was very angry. He snorted angrily, flicked his sleeve, and continued to speed forward, not wanting to listen to Yun Xiao anymore. Yun Xiao smiled and formed a team with Han Xian. They crossed a few more mountains and finally came to an open area, where withered plants and sparse trees began to appear. A land with a mine vein must be barren. This place looks good. Xiao Minghui gazed into the distance and said, there seems to be no life force in front of us, and there's a faint fire element. It's indeed a mineral vein. We've been in Southfire City for so long, yet we didn't know that such resources were hidden in the Deathlands. Everyone quickly jumped up a mountain in front of them and looked down. A large area of fiery red appeared on the surface of the mountain, extending into the distance with no end in sight. Magnet. It's actually such a huge mine. Everyone was shocked and looked over in horror. This mine vein appeared directly on the mountain's surface without any concealment. Visually, it was not much worse than the few existing mine veins in Southfire City. All the major forces were shocked and suspicious. Why would the Thunderwind Chamber of Commerce provide such a large mine vein? This was definitely not their style. We've investigated this mine, and it's at least one of the top 5 mines we've discovered so far. It's also been confirmed that the source of Southern Fire Golden Crystal is right under this mountain range, said Gao Lin with a profound tone. Sun Jiming said, President Gao, you should be more direct. Why are you giving away such a huge advantage? Don't tell us that you're learning from others. We're all adults. I've been kind enough to serve everyone, Gao Lin said unhurriedly. But you don't appreciate it. You'll see for yourself when you go to the mountain. Tan Dijuan took the lead and flew up to the peak of the mountain. The crowd waited until Gao Lin and the others had also left before following closely behind. They all remembered what Yun Xiao had said. Only when the people of the Chamber of Commerce left first could they prove that there was no danger ahead. When everyone arrived at the peak of the mountain, they looked down and saw a bottomless black hole in the middle of the most red ore. Strong astral winds kept blowing out of the hole, bringing with them an extremely strong fire element. Some martial arts grandmasters felt that they were struggling to resist. Yun Xiao looked at the black hole and said, there's actually astral winds. Although they're not too strong, they're enough to prove that this place isn't simple. From the activity of the fire element, there was indeed a southern fire golden crystal source within the black hole. However, he sneered a few times and said, could there be a 9th-rank demonic beast inside? Everyone was shocked and secretly thought of this possibility. Otherwise, the Thunderwind Chamber of Commerce wouldn't have made this treasure land known to everyone. Everyone was suspicious. A 9th-rank demonic beast was an existence comparable to a human expert of the 9 heavens realm. Killing them was as easy as killing dogs. Tan Dijuan's face was also serious. If there was really a 9th-level demonic beast, even Zhang Linghua wouldn't be able to drive it away. The group of people all stared at Gao Lin. He was the only one who knew the situation best. Don't worry, Gao Lin smiled and said, there are no 9th-rank demonic beasts here. As for the rest, I won't say much. Information is very valuable. If you are willing to pay tens of billions of primeval stones, I can consider telling you. If there aren't any 9th-order monster beasts, then it must be a dangerous place. Who's willing to go down with me? Tan Dijuan said. Since the Thunderwind Chamber of Commerce could get the information, so could he. The people from the local forces looked at each other. Finally, Xiao Minghui and Sun Jiming stepped out and were willing to go down together. The rest of the martial artists were obviously not strong enough. As for those itinerant martial artists, it was even more impossible for them to follow and throw away their lives. Tan Dijuan's eyes fell on Yun Xiao as he said, "Young Master Yun, are you interested?" Yun Xiao said with a smile. "I'm not interested. The Southern Fire golden crystal mines that are scattered all over the mountains are enough to satisfy me. With experts like you eyeing the Southern Fire golden crystal source, I don't dare to have any ideas about it." His insincere words immediately attracted a wave of disdain. Tan Dijuan didn't force him. "We'll go down and have a look," he said. "I'll have to trouble young Master Yun to take care of things up there." He was naturally referring to the people of the Chamber of Commerce. With Yun Xiao here as a deterrent, he expected that Gao Lin would not dare to do anything to them. After saying that, the three of them flew down into the black hole one after another. The rest of the martial artists looked at the Southern Fire golden crystal mines that were exposed on the mountain. Their eyes were all shining. It would be best if they had the Southern Fire golden crystal source, but it didn't matter if they didn't. The things in front of them were enough for them to exchange for the vitality stones they could squander in their next lives. They excitedly ran all over the mountain and began to dig. When martial artists mined, it was different from when ordinary mortals mined. They used all kinds of skills to smash the ground and pull large chunks of Southern Fire golden crystal ore into their rings. Yun Xiao, on the other hand, was very calm. He had been standing on the top of the mountain and watching everyone's actions, as if he was indifferent. Han Xian followed his lead and naturally didn't move. "Brat, you're quite calm. Could it be that you're also waiting for that Southern Fire golden crystal essence?" asked Gao Lin in surprise. "Not even the president has moved," Yun Xiao said with a smile. "Why should I? In short, I believe in the president's wisdom, so he definitely won't be at a disadvantage. If I follow the president, I naturally won't be at a disadvantage." Gao Lin's eyelids twitched, and he snorted heavily, then ignored him. He found that Yun Xiao's calmness was a little terrifying, and his observation skills often made him see blood. He vaguely felt that Yun Xiao was a big trouble, but he could not get rid of it. Suddenly, three figures flew out of the black hole. They were Tan Dijuan and the other two, all with heavy faces. "What?" Yun Xiao asked curiously. "You've found out so quickly?" "It's a maze down there," Tan Dijuan said. With that, his eyes fell on Yun Xiao, staring at him with a profound look. "It's a maze." Gao Lin laughed, but his expression gradually turned cold. "In order to explore this labyrinth, we've lost a lot of people, and there are still people inside who haven't come out yet." Looking into Tan Dijuan's eyes, Yun Xiao suddenly had an idea. He immediately understood. The map that was carved on the platinum paper of the Northern Scorpion sect should be the map of the maze in the cave. In that case, this place was actually left behind by the North Scorpion sect thousands of years ago. "In that case, it's enough to prove the horror of this maze," Yun Xiao said. "Let's end the treasure hunt here. I won't play with you anymore." He turned around to leave. Tan Dijuan's face darkened. He moved to stop Yun Xiao, glared at him, and snorted, "Since you're here, let's play together. I suggest that we go our separate ways and that young Master Yun and guild leader Luan Xian join our Big Dipper sect." He made a hand gesture, and the disciples of the Big Dipper sect immediately understood. Pingyi and Shangguan Yuan surrounded Han Xian from the front and back, while Zhen Duyo also spread out his domain and controlled Han Xian. Tan Dijuan knew that Yun Xiao could not be kept, so he did not bother to waste his energy on him. He said with a leisurely smile, "Young Master Yun, let's work together." Yun Xiao's eyes darkened. He had the treasure map, so Tan Dijuan would definitely not let him go. Moreover, from his tone, he also intended to leave the other sects and act alone. Sect Master Tan, Sun Jiming said, "I'm very curious. How did young Master Yun become so popular after you went to the labyrinth at the bottom of the cave? Could it be that there's some secret behind this?" The people from the other sects, as well as Gao Lin and the others, were all staring at Tan Dijuan with suspicion. Tan Dijuan cursed the old fox in his heart. The Sky Scorpion sect was also a branch of the North Scorpion sect, so he must have guessed something. He laughed and said, "What secret can there be? If you don't believe me, you can ask young Master Yun yourself. It's just that young Master Yun is intelligent, so he should be of great help in solving the maze." Xiao Minghui said, "I see. Then we should all work together. That way, we'll be of greater help. The people of the New Moon sect will follow Sect Master Tan. We'll work together and hope that Sect Master Tan won't mind." My Thunderwind Chamber of Commerce found this place. Even if we don't have any credit, we have worked hard. I hope Sect Master Tan can bring it along. Gao Lin also walked up with a smile and said, "Even if we don't, we'll still follow Sect Master Tan." Tan Dijuan's unusual action attracted everyone's attention, and they all focused their attention on him and Yun Xiao. Tan Dijuan now regretted giving Yun Xiao the treasure map. He had thought that Yun Xiao was just a martial grandmaster, someone he could control at any time, but now he found that it was completely beyond his expectation, and the treasure maze really existed. He was in a difficult position now, so he could only say awkwardly, "If that's the case, then everyone can go in together." However, whether young Master Yun is willing to go or not will depend on his wishes. Although Li Yunxiao is quite strong, Gao Lin said, "It seems that his confidant's cultivation base is very limited. If you don't cooperate with us, don't you know how to make an example out of someone else's female friend? How is that possible?" Tan Dijuan snorted. "Young Master Yun is a friend of my Big Dipper sect. I'm just having my men protect guild leader Han Xian." "That's right, protection. My Thunderwind Chamber of Commerce will also protect you." Gao Lin sneered in disdain. Everyone turned to look at Han Xian. Although they did not know why Tan Dijuan had taken her hostage to threaten Yun Xiao, there must be some reason. Otherwise, with the strength Yun Xiao had shown, Tan Dijuan would never have offended him for no reason. Han Xian was both angry and angry, thinking that she had become young Master Yun's burden, and the more she thought about it, the sadder she felt. "Young Master Yun, you can do as you wish, but don't worry about me. Don't forget that you still have a heavy responsibility on you. Don't be threatened by this group of villains." But her words were so weak. Yun Xiao smiled and said to the crowd, "Since Sect Master Tan and everyone is so good to me, then I can't let everyone down. The treasure map of this cave maze is on me."
Ah.
Everyone was shocked, and Tan Dijuan's face fell. He did not expect Yun Xiao to say it out loud, but it was too late. Judging from the horrified looks on Gao Lin and the others' faces, they were in big trouble. Not only these sects and merchant forces, but many warriors in the distance were also alarmed and gathered from all directions, watching coldly. An unexpected fortune, anyone who saw it would have a share. Although they were weak, no one was willing to give up the opportunity to take a bite. After all, to be able to persevere all the way here, in addition to great greed and ambition, they also possessed great strength and scheming. Sun Jiming was shocked and asked, "You're saying that you have the treasure map? The hidden treasures of the North Scorpion sect? It's actually in this hole?" Gao Lin's expression changed drastically. Other than shock, he was also filled with regret and annoyance. He had thought that it was just a mine, but he didn't expect that it would involve the treasure of the North Scorpion sect. His back was covered in cold sweat. For such an important matter, if the treasure was stolen and the headquarters found out, he would be in big trouble. Even if he obtained some amazing resources, it would not be enough to offset his sin of foolishness for leaking the news. If that's the case, this cave has existed for thousands or even tens of thousands of years, Xiao Minghui said. It's rumored that the treasures of the Northern Scorpion sect have been emptied out, but there should be a mistake. At least, there's a source of Southern Fire golden crystal essence here. If it had been emptied out at that time, it's impossible for such an item to be left behind. Han Xian couldn't help but say, perhaps these Southern Fire golden crystal essences only formed in the last few thousand years. There's something you don't know, guild leader Han Xian, Mei Dong said with a smile. The Southern Fire golden crystal essence can't be formed without tens of thousands of years. Hearing Xiao Minghui's words, everyone's heart immediately became fanatical. If the treasures of the North Scorpion sect were still there, what a shocking situation it would be. Only Gao Lin and Tan Dizong's faces were dark and unsightly. Gao Lin had made the news public, so he didn't expect it to be such a shocking thing. If he reported it to the headquarters, it would definitely be valued and sent down powerful experts. However, it was also an eventful period for the merchant union. All the experts had been sent to various places to suppress the situation. And it was already too late. Tan Dijuan did not expect Yun Xiao to be so generous as to tell him about the treasure map. Now, it was impossible for the Big Dipper sect to monopolize the map. After the shock, Xiao Minghui looked at Tan Dijuan and Gao Lin, and he felt very comfortable. Since the treasures left behind by the previous sect, naturally everyone who has seen them will have a share. Bullshit. Tan Dijuan snorted coldly, this is something left behind by my Big Dipper sect's ancestor. You want a share? If Sect Master Sun were to take 10 to 20%, I would still be able to accept it. Sect Master Xiao, the items of my sect's predecessor have nothing to do with you. As for the commoners in the forest, you'll never be able to get close to them. The matter of the treasure was too big, and he began to exclude even the local forces. Xiao Minghui's face darkened, and he said, Sect Master Tan's words are really hurtful. What is the item of the predecessor? You have nothing to do with the North Scorpion sect, right? If there is, it's because you've already taken enough resources from the Northern Scorpion sect. Don't tell me we're going to take the last bit of treasure they've buried? Yes, correct. Why can't we? Yelled Gao Lin. Your two sects seized the Northern Scorpion sect's property by force. Tan Dijuan was stunned. He didn't expect Xiao Minghui to be so smart. He didn't know how to explain the situation. Yun Xiao suddenly burst into laughter, confusing everyone as they stared at him. Why? Xiao Minghui asked. It seems that young Master Yun thinks my words are wrong? I don't know what's so funny, but please explain. Show your ass. You're all bullies. Yun Xiao cursed. Why are you pretending to be reasonable here? Even if my name is written on the treasure, will you let it go? The final distribution and ownership were decided by fists. Who would listen to all this nonsense? You guys have a lot of time, don't you? Everyone was silent. This was indeed the case, but no matter what, he had to have a good reason to do so and make himself look good. After all, everyone here was a respected figure. He couldn't just say that he was strong, so he wanted it. How could he be so straightforward that he even took off his mask? Well said. Let's not try to reason with each other. Gao Lin laughed. Whoever has the strength will get a share of the treasure. I agree with this. Tan Dijuan said, that's true, but we have to see who's stronger. My senior brother is a martial sovereign of the 9 heavens. The Big Dipper sect will take 90% of the treasure. Since they had already made things clear, they were indeed too lazy to reason with him. They immediately got into formation and began to talk about how to divide the loot. What a joke. If Sect Master Zhang was here, I would have nothing to say. However, at this moment, it's naturally the strength of a witness. No. Gao Lin immediately denied. If the strength of the rear is counted, then the Thunderwind Chamber of Commerce has at least 10 martial emperors. Doesn't that mean that we'll take 99% of the profits? That's right, President Qian has a point. Not only did the influential members of the Chamber of Commerce express their support, but even Sun Jiming and the others also agreed. They were now in favor of whoever's decision was beneficial to them. Tan Dijuan's eyes were full of killing intent. He said slowly, this is going to be troublesome. Many people will probably die.